morning, and welcome to the Aired Out podcast from Fly on the Wall Productions. Live on Facebook and YouTube and streamed wherever the hell it is you get your podcasts, on the web at airedoutvt.com. Good morning, I'm J.D. Creaney. It is Monday, the 16th already. So much going on this weekend. One more weekend to go before Christmas, which is 1 week from this Wednesday. That hit me yesterday like a ton of bricks. I was like, are you kidding me? What a weekend it was. First off, weather. Cloudy skies today. Going to be foggy and damp. We're looking at 35 degrees. Showers come into the picture tonight with a steady rain overnight. Temps down into the 30s, low 30s, Tuesday, tomorrow. Morning showers, still possible. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, mid-40s tomorrow. Going to be mild. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, 40 degrees. Snow showers in the afternoon. Things could be a little messy. I mean, this isn't, some monster storm, but it could be, a little slippery. Not the greatest traveling weather Wednesday into Thursday, with still some more flurries. And then that cold front is going to be pushing in Thursdays. So 40s out, 20s in, and things are going to be dropping. Temps going from the 30s in the morning on Thursday to the 20s by the afternoon. So, usually we get temperatures going up during the day. They're going to be going down backwards on Thursday. And Friday, snow. Not much. Highs in the lower 20s. As I said, just enough to make it slick. Hey, happy birthday today to Renee Simoneau, Teresa Ellen, Nedra Wackler, Jim Ruffing, George Goldring, R.J. Miller, Tina Little, Ann Joe Roy, Rusty Berger, Jackie Richardson, Les Smith, Joni Dudley, and Annette Dunn on this National Chocolate-Covered Anything Day. And the Facebook question of the day was, and I don't know if I have my own personal answer for this, but what's the strangest thing you've ever eaten that was dipped in chocolate? And I know there's some rather unusual things out there, chocolate-covered crickets and whatnot. What's the strangest thing you'd be willing to eat if it was dipped in chocolate? For me, those that know me well know that I will pretty much eat anything. I don't even need to know what it is. I'm one of those guys where if someone says, oh, you got to try this, it's good, I don't ask. Well, hang on a second. What is it? Do I have any allergies? I don't care. If someone says something tastes good, I want to try it. I will eat literally anything. Cooked, raw, still living. I'll try it. It was a great weekend. Good morning, Mark and G and Glenn, Stacy. It was a fantastic weekend. And it started Friday night over at Montpelier Volkswagen and Mazda with their Christmas party that they threw over there. First time ever at the new dealership for the public. Mrs. Claus was there looking fine, I got to say. Santa was there. Put a lot of weight on this year, but he says he's ready for Christmas Eve. He was there as well. And they brought in the Grinch, which was kind of interesting. They're extending the olive branch. But he joined them on the helicopter when they arrived at the Knapp Airport and straight from the North Pole. And they went right to Montpelier Volkswagen Mazda Friday night, and they had cookie decorating and unbelievable hot cocoa. The elves were running around everywhere, causing problems, and it was incredible. We all got sugared up and went out for dinner afterwards. It was amazing. So this morning, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Dr. Matt Chalmers is going to be joining me sometime around 9:30 this morning to talk about something that I've been reading an awful lot about lately. I don't know why. I'll tell you, it's in the AARP magazine. I've been reading it. That's one of the sources where I've read it. But I've also been reading a lot of stuff online about processed foods and ultra-processed foods and how Americans just can't get away from it. And we love it. And how bad it is for you. And it not just a source of something that can cause cardiovascular disease and weight gain, but mainly what I've been reading about is inflammation that comes with ultra processed foods. And man, I've got some questions. I don't know if you do, but if you do, join us in the chat at around 9:30 this morning with Dr. Matt Chalmers. Anxious to speak with him. He's written a book about this, and he'll be on the air with me. Daily Dose of Feel Good this morning. Amy's Armoire, who is just such an amazing business right here on North Main Street in Barrie that does incredible things for our community. They posted the following, and I've got it right here in front of me. In case you missed it last year, do you have someone in mind that people would pay to see in a Christmas onesie on Main Street in Barrie while making money to support Amy's Armoire nonprofit? And Amy Anderson then wrote, my husband made us $750 last year because so many people wanted to see me post the video of him publicly wearing a onesie outdoors on the sidewalk in front of Amy's Armoire right here on North Main Street in Barrie. And he's willing to do it again, but wants to see others in onesies too. Now, what kind of man would want to see others in onesies? Anything to make a buck. And how better to make a buck than for Amy's Armoire? Really? And Amy wrote, who would you like to see? Someone posted my name, and I guess there were a couple of hits on it. And I've been officially nominated. I spoke about this last week with G, who was on the air with me, and in typical G fashion, he says like, hell yeah, you're going to do it, and he upped the ante to $1,000, which I think is borderline absurd, but nonetheless, he picked the number and went with it live on the air, and apparently that's what it's set at now. I don't know, and I was hoping to have some more details on this morning. I don't know all the details of how this works. I am going to chat with Amy probably today and set the record straight. First and foremost, that I have no business wearing a onesie, Christmas or otherwise, in public. Secondly, it's not going to be good. Secondly, when is this going to happen? When am I going to make a complete ass out of myself? G says we're up to $350 so far. So I need to find out, how people are doing this. Who when do they have to pay by? But listen, please don't give me any money. I don't want it. Don't hand me anything. Give it directly to Amy Anderson over at Amy's Armoire. And, if you want to say that it's for me, that's fine. If you want to say that it's for Greg Forbes, that's fine too. I don't know if he's coming along for moral support or if he's going to be wearing a onesie. And I don't know exactly when we're going to be doing this. I have an idea of when it's going to happen, but I want to kind of confirm that with Amy. But yeah, you bet. I'll do anything to earn a buck for Amy's Armoire. I mean, you talk about a lady with a mission and a goal and a vision to improve the lives of local Vermonters. It's that lady right there, Amy Anderson, right here on North Main Street. So I'm going to help her out. We're going to talk about these, what's going on in the Vermont skies here in just a little bit, but I want to give you a new sponsor alert, and I am so excited. Saturday had kind of an interesting time here in the studio, and I'm normally not on the air on Saturdays. Had a couple of kids come in here and talk about something that I haven't talked about in a long time, frankly, since I was a kid. Donovan Seacard and his brother John. Donovan is 18, John is 15. They, along with their dad, started Legacy Card Traders, a local family-run trading card company that absolutely loves this hobby, and they are really starting to get some traction with C-cards. Yeah, Father Sean and his two teenage sons, Donovan and John, and they are really making a name for themselves. They have a Facebook page, Legacy Card Traders, which I urge you to get on, have a look. But these young kids really want to take this to the next level and are even hoping to have a store, possibly right here in central Vermont, right here, maybe even on North Main Street, where they are selling baseball trading cards, and not just baseball, mostly baseball, but other sports as well, including racing. So they have taught me so much in a very short period of time, and frankly, I was very humbled by my entire experience with them Saturday on the air. I was just thinking, we would kind of chew the fat for like 15 minutes or so, but no. I mean, we ended up hanging out for like an hour, and I was like, screw it, we're just going to keep the cameras going. I mean, they were teaching me so much. I was fascinated to learn about it, and they even gave away some pretty high-value cards on the air live on Saturday. So thanks for tuning in and supporting these two kids and their dad, and I'm thrilled to be connected with them. I hope to get them back on the air here real soon. Let's see. Vermont State Police took shooting suspect Scott Mason into custody Sunday morning. It was around 2 a.m., I think, that they finally got this guy. Community taking a huge sigh of relief after he was arrested. This all went down around 4:30 on Friday after a domestic violence incident was called into the police. It was something that went from 0 to 60 in a half a second, and it took state police, neighboring state agencies, and the FBI 32 hours of nonstop searching to find this guy, Scott Mason, again, 2 a.m. Sunday morning, after receiving a tip that he was inside of a home right next door to where the shooting happened, which is interesting because I, along with Sherilyn and a few other friends, it's said all along, I'll bet you this guy's, he's either moving fast and has skipped the state and is far, far away in a short period of time, or he's right under their nose. And we were kind of leaning toward, I'll bet you he's right close by. But then I had, the argument against that, what I had heard was, well, no, he couldn't be. Because if he was, the dogs would be sniffing him out. I don't know. In a situation like this, it's oh, Hillary, believe me, I'm going to go down that road. Just in a situation like this, I would think that, and I understand privacy and all that, but like I would just think that everyone on that street would be like, hey, police, come on into our home, even though we know he's not hiding out in here. Come on into our home and look around for whatever reason you want. I know people aren't like that. We got dirty dishes stacked up in the sink and whatnot. We don't want people coming into our homes. But just the thought that he was right there the whole time, and I said, I mean, wearing a sweatshirt and some sweatpants, he's not going far if he's out on the run without anyone's help. If he's moving around in the woods or whatever, he's not going to last long in those temperatures. Unbelievable. The first time that Vermont has put out a blue alert. Something that was obviously new to so many of us. Police say there were others in the house when Mason was found, and they are investigating if the others helped him stay hidden. Isn't that called harboring a fugitive? How could they not know? Oh, we didn't know he was behind the couch this whole time for 32 hours. We didn't know he was in our basement this whole time. We didn't know we were feeding him and giving him water. Come on. I wish there was more to the story. I wish the news outlets were publishing more about that. I'm sure at some point we will. He's now camped out at St. Jay. Expected to be held on, let's see, Vermont Superior Court, 1 o'clock this afternoon. And meanwhile, the Captain Dale Jason Gray, still in the hospital, still in stable condition, thank God. So Mason now faces charges of attempted second-degree murder, aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, resulting in serious bodily injury, and also faces unrelated charges. There is a lot to be said here about this story. There is a lot to be said about this story with regard to repeat offenders here in the state of Vermont and how tough or lack thereof our judicial system here in Vermont is on those repeat offenders. Something like this never should have happened. What in the hell's going on in the Vermont skies? Believe me, let me just go back and say I'm far from done talking about Scott Mason. We'll be talking about him throughout the week, for all of this week, as we learn more. First it was New York, then it was New Jersey, or maybe flip-flop of that, and now it's apparently all over New England. We've got something flying around up in the sky. I don't know what the hell it is. No one knows what the hell it is. Our Central Vermont conspiracy theorist, Paul Brody, is with us on the line. Paul, what say you about all this? Are you I
know what it is.
Are you privy to all of this?
Yeah, I make it up.
Okay.
Everybody just makes up what they're doing anyway. So.
All right. Yeah,
but on your last, well, never mind. I was gonna let's keep it light. I was gonna get get heavy, but let's keep it light. So I got a theory. You know this movie Red One?
Oh yeah, of course.
Have you seen it yet?
Unfortunately, unfortunately, I
You
have.
have.
It
Okay,
was
we'll
it
move on.
was possibly the top three, definitely top five, but possibly the top three worst movies I think I've ever seen in my life.
Really? That's heavy. Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry, I'm just being honest with you, man. It's horrible.
No, of course you have to be. I don't. It was a movie. I can confirm that it was a movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought it was still in the theaters, but it was on Amazon Prime yesterday for free. So I watched it.
Yeah.
And I'd heard bad reviews about it.
Yeah.
So, but then I also heard that it was really really good from somebody that I like. So, someone I know personally who I think has good opinions about stuff. So, it's just whatever. Everybody's got different tastes in movies. But in the first scene where they're at the North Pole, there's all kinds of drones flying around carrying boxes.
Oh yeah.
And so I started thinking, okay, and that clicked with I don't know if it was some drone manufacturer or somebody is affiliated with the Navy or somebody was saying that some of these sightings in New Jersey look like this device that is documents they're aware of that the Navy uses to transport products from or gear, stuff, boxes from the mainland out to ships at sea. They're transport drones. And so so I remember that and I thought, what if all this stuff was some failed attempt at marketing for this movie Red One? And so like they went to the marketing team, they worked up all this stuff, they got all the details, and they sent the drones out, and they're supposed to be some kind of gimmick, but then it failed somehow, and the drones they lost control of them, and so then rather admitting they failed, they just kept their nose clean, stayed quiet, pretended it wasn't theirs. I imagine some executive in his office somewhere really just wringing his his hands, rubbing his hands together, all nervous and whatever, and every time the phone rings, he gets freaked out. It takes almost calling the say, "What did you do?" That's my new theory. What do you think? Credibility?
No, that's very interesting. Did it ever cross your mind that this could possibly be something connected to Santa Claus and the North Pole with regard to distribution of goods in anticipate? Yeah, right.
Red One marketing.
All right.
Maybe Red One isn't so much a fiction movie as it is a documentary, and they just released it.
Okay.
That is the paving the way. But predictive programming is always out there.
All right. So you literally think
I think it's part of it. Yeah, go ahead.
You literally think it could be something related to Santa Claus?
No, absolutely not. I don't think it's that at all. Okay. I think it's Project Bluebeam and the alien invasion hoax, which has been around since Vermont Braun his assistant had said he had mentioned it. So it's all hearsay.
Yeah.
Again, all these things. I entertain everything. I'm skeptical, but I listen.
Yeah.
Right? That's the fifth agreement.
Well, here we are.
I'm open to anything.
Here we are.
I don't know what any of it is.
It's all over the skies, man. It's like, have you seen the Vermont Crime Stoppers has got video down in Rutland over the weekend. Video, and can you hear anything on the video? Do you hear any kind of, propellers or any kind of?
I didn't, but I know a guy in New Jersey who saw one. Because he lives in that area where it's all happening, and I asked him about it. And he was driving. He said he saw one, and it seemed like it was just hovering. It's the size of a Cessna. It looked like a plane, but it was hovering, and it was really, really low. So, and so like the official statement is, you're all too stupid to realize what you're seeing, and that's what they're telling us. I forget which one it was. It was the DoD spokesperson or John Kirby or who it was, but essentially they're saying that these are regular airplane. This is all regular air traffic that people are mistaking for drones, and they're getting caught up in this hysteria and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
that's not gaslighting.
Yeah, but they're hovering though. They're not.
Right, yeah, right. Well, and they're saying that based on people have limited depth perception at night, and and that's probably true. So, is it 20 feet above you or 200 feet? Is it really close to you and really small, or is it really far away and really big? And that's the thing that's saying is hard.
Now we've got
the government lies about everything. This is if they're saying they don't know what it is, but it's not a harm. Well, then those two statements can't be true. If I see a snake and I don't know if it's poisonous, I can't say it's not harmful just because it hasn't bitten me and killed me yet. Right? So either I know what it is and I'm pretending I don't, and then I can say it's not harmful. So then I'm lying to you, or I don't know what it is I don't know this is not harmful, and I'm lying to you. So either way, these people are lying to us. But this is look up Project Bluebeam, look up alien invasion hoax, Werner von Braun. The theory is that they were going to use a hoax, alien invasion, to create more united government or lockdown controls and stuff like that. And this theory's been around for decades now. And so last year, some of the people I like to listen to for entertainment purposes only were saying that 2024 was the year of the alien hoax. Well, and we've seen all year they've been ramping up more stories, more report, the whistleblowers and talking to Congress and all that kind of stuff. And now this is going on. So it's all predictive programming. There's some in the conspiracy. I'm sharing the secrets, the trade secrets of the conspiracy group, because most people don't listen to this stuff. But there's all these ideas about the nefarious people who are running things they have to tell you about it ahead of time. And if they don't, then they absorb some kind of negative karma. So if they tell you about it ahead of time, I don't know. That stuff doesn't fit with me. Anything that I believe in, I think that's all nonsense. But that's where a lot of the conspiracy theorists are going on. Not a lot, but some people in the network are going on that. And so they do this predictive program to put it in the movies, to put it on TV shows, and they'll talk about it, and they'll leak little bits and pieces, preparing for the event. And so but it can also have like a psychological softening effect. But it could also be part of this.
Have the Simpsons been talking about this?
Well, they've had space aliens. The space mutants have been in their series since from probably the third or fourth episode of the series.
Paul, now we have the feds involved along with Homeland Security, telling people they're not concerned about any kind of public harm here. How do they know?
Exactly. How can you know if you don't know what it is?
Right. How can we say there's no public threat if we don't know what it is? Right. I mean, this is kind of funky. We're seeing this. St. Albans over the weekend, Rutland.
Yeah. Well, it's been spreading out. So December 4th was a friend up here who's from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, and so a friend of mine who's from New Jersey, knowing my connection, I guess assumed that I might have heard about it already, but I hadn't heard about it. This is December 4th. This is almost 2 weeks ago. It was a Wednesday, and they'd asked if I said, what's going on with the drones in New Jersey? And I said, I don't know. How are they? I had no idea. And so I go look it up and then see all this stuff. And then from there, it's expanded out everywhere. There's all kinds of reports across the country. So is it people getting caught up in the hysteria? And now everybody's looking up. This is part of it too. We were last night we were driving down to the Christmas lights in Joseph Smith Memorial in South Royalton. And so driving down the highway, I'm looking up the whole time. I'm watching the sky and hoping to see something, and there's some blinking lights that must have been on a tower, but couldn't see the tower because it was dark and whatever. And I don't drive that way very often. And so my wife and I were talking about it, and she said, now we're looking for things, whereas we weren't usually looking for things. So that's part of this too.
Yeah.
Is that all of a sudden somebody says, hey, there's crazy drones all over the sky. It's not everybody's going outside and looking. Even if you're not purposely going outside to look, once they're outside, they're looking up. So you're going to see more things you don't usually see. And that's part of the official story is that, now everybody's looking up, so they're seeing regular traffic in and out of Newark Airport that they don't usually see, and they're assuming it's drones. And I'm sure that's happening. A lot of it is probably that. Maybe not a lot, but some of it is probably that.
Yeah.
But then when it's happening everywhere, and so how much of it is copycats or people flying their own drones and all that kind of stuff? I cannot conceive of a possible rational, logical, reasonable explanation that the United States government doesn't know what this is.
Yeah.
So it has to be that they're lying about it. Yeah. And if they would at least say, we know what it is, we know that it's not a threat, we're not prepared to release this information, okay, well, people are like, well, why not? And it's public information. The government's not something separate from us. People talk about government spending. That's our spending. That's taxpayer money. There's no government. There's no such thing as government. There's no existence. There's no entity, right? It's an assumption of people. We're all people. We're all the same. We're all exactly the same. Our money, the government's money is our money. Your money is my money. All the taxes we pay. And information should be ours too. Now, then there's the debate about national security and stuff like that. Well, if this is something that would threaten national security, shouldn't we know about it? Well, then they say, people, they don't say it, but the implication is that people are too stupid to handle it.
Yeah.
I'm not too stupid to handle it. Tell it to me.
Listen, I want to thank you for coming on. We're gonna scoot here because we've got Dr. Matt Chalmers standing by, but Paul is going to be joining me tomorrow on the airwaves right here in the studio to talk about Christmas music, all things Christmas. Actually, tomorrow our annual sit down discussion about Christmas, and I can't wait to do that. It is going to be just wonderful. Listen, if you listen to me on a regular basis, you know that I often complain about arthritis, stiffness, aches and pains. You know, I make fun of myself quite a bit. I have had so many friends tell me over the years, even just recently, that well, I know there's an old saying, and I've heard it: a fit body is primarily built in the kitchen and not in the gym. Dr. Matt Chalmers is with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Man, I am thrilled to chat with you. I think I may have had you on the air in the past, but you are just such a wealth of knowledge with this, not just mind and body and spirit, but also what's going on in the body. And you are the author of a book called Pillars of Wellness: Achieve and Uphold Holistic Health, Vitality, and Longevity. I haven't read the book yet, but I would like to pick it up. I'm assuming we can get it anywhere on Amazon. But tell us about this, about the warnings that seem like they're more prevalent. I don't know if this has anything to do with foods that are coming down the pipe here through the holidays, where we all kind of say, and let's admit it, we all say screw it. We're happy during the holidays. We just want to eat whatever it is that we're cooking. It's not just, cookies and breads, but it's pastas. It's all kind of stuff that's ultra processed foods that we just don't care that we're swallowing this down. And it can lead to some pretty serious health issues.
Oh, absolutely. Like a lot of this processed stuff is going to change hormonally a lot faster than normal food will. We have bigger insulin spikes that leads to insulin resistance, that leads to diabetes, substantial fat gain, and it starts tearing apart lots of the stuff in the body. If we have extra glyphosate, that can block glycine, and so it ends up causing immune damage. So there's all sorts of things that chemical-wise that we just don't know about can really alter your goals.
I make fun of myself here that I like to put on the readers and sit down and read my AARP magazine on on Sunday mornings, but there was just this big thing in there. Lots of research done. University of California in San Francisco studied the MRI scans of the thighs of 666 participants in the National Institutes of Health's osteoarthritis initiative, and found that those who had diets higher in ultra-processed foods, mass-produced breads, cereals, prepackaged meals, stuff like that, sweetened drinks, all likely to have more fat in their thigh muscles. Fascinating.
Yeah, again, when we start looking at what actually is going on in the body, and this is one of the problems, is that we've been using a calorie system for a long time, and that's not really reflective of how the body works. Each macro, so you look at fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, they actually activate different hormones in the body. So when we eat ultra-processed carbohydrates, it produces a lot more insulin. That insulin's a fat storage hormone, and it creates storage of fat like this. The other problem is that a lot of those chemicals that are in those processed foods basically cause addictions, and they block the satiety sensor in your body that says, hey, thanks, I'm full, I don't need any more. And so we overeat. And so not only are we overeating, but we're overeating things that are directly adding to fat and disease states like diabetes.
That is freaky to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's something that people haven't really been told. The problem we get into is that it's, drugs are very important, and they're a big part of what we're doing. Antibiotics, that sort of thing. But our medical system is not taught any nutrition. They're not taught any biochemistry of nutrition and things like that. So when you go to your doctor and you ask them about dietary questions, they usually don't know. And you can only know so many things. So what we're having to do is people are having to start looking for people who have spent the time on the dietary nutritional stuff. So we're starting to see a lot of this information come out. RFK is starting to come out and bring about the dyes and some of the other chemicals, but it is becoming a major, major issue, and people are really trying to look for it, and they should be, because that's where health is really going to be found.
There's so much chat this time of year, and there will be once is the minute that the calendar changes to the 26th or the first of the year. That's when we're going to be seeing and hearing so much about gym memberships and eating healthy, the Mediterranean diet, New Year's resolutions, all of this stuff, getting exercise. But man, it's like, and one of our listeners here has a great comment. I mean, what choice do we have here in America? Americans more than anywhere globally are eating more processed foods than anywhere on earth. And it's like, what choices do we have? I mean, what is ultra processed food, and where can we avoid it at the grocery store?
The easiest way to answer that question is if it comes in a box or a bag, it's most likely processed. If you can put it on your shelf for 2 weeks and it doesn't go bad, it's processed. Like if you took strawberries, just regular strawberries, and left them in your fridge for 2 weeks, they'd go bad. So, if we're looking at it from that standpoint, that's the easiest way to kind of figure out, if it's processed or not. The other way is if you look at the back of the ingredients and there's large words you can't pronounce, that's a pretty solid, indication that's highly processed.
Do you eat processed foods? I mean, maybe that's a dumb question. Of course you do.
I eat very little. We do eat some processed foods, but a lot of the stuff that I make, I just make at the house. So, eggs, steaks, we smoke a lot of meat, so briskets and things like that. I'll cook and grill vegetables and stuff like that. So that's typically where the vast majority of my stuff comes from, but we still eat, some processed things like pizza crusts are a little processed and things like that. So it's impossible to get away from, but you can tone it down quite a bit and still enjoy all the foods you enjoy.
Yeah, Dave here says organic, local, whole foods, vegan, and no sugar. Man, it's like, we avoid the sugar, and then, we've got aspartame or something that's not good for us in a different kind of a way. I mean, it's discouraging, Matt. It seems like this is an uphill battle for so many of us.
Well, there's a lot of sweeteners we can use that are actually very good for you. Allulose has been shown to do tremendous amounts of health benefits, and it's sweet. Stevia has some benefits to it. Erythritol helps dilate small blood vessels and walks back arteriosclerosis, so erythritol is functional. Monk fruit's great as well. There's a bunch of things that we can use that are herbal and they're sweet to replace sugar and still taste fantastic. There's a lot of ways of making pecan pie and cheesecakes and cookies and all sorts of things with these keto sweeteners that a lot of them are very healthy for you.
Tell us about your book, Pillars of Wellness, Achieve and Uphold Holistic Health, Vitality, and Longevity. Where do we find it? Tell us what's in there.
So it's on Amazon. You guys can grab it there. The biggest thing that I wanted to do with this was kind of explain the pieces of how we go through and make ourselves healthy, from exercise to hormonal function, nutritional function, and then definitely recognize the mental health and the spiritual health aspect of wellness, because it's kind of funny because everything starts with mindset, and that's the psychological piece. No one goes to the gym until they decide they're going to go to the gym. And so figuring out how to alter the way we perceive the world and how we're going to do things is a major piece of becoming healthy. If we have a positive mindset versus a negative mindset, you're going to be a lot healthier with the positive mindset. So what we try to do is kind of go through and be like, here are the four biggest pillars that if we can just kind of hone down in and increase our health in each one a little bit over time, we're going to be a lot healthier. And so that's kind of where the premise of the book was. And it's been quite helpful.
Boy, is that that's the big picture. You're going up 40,000 feet here. Wellness is a massive umbrella, and there's no one fix to everything here. It's not just what's what you're eating, but everything has to fit together here. And I don't think we need to be perfect in every category, every pillar, right?
No, it's just as long as we get a little bit better every day, then we're doing really, really well. Like we'll take some people all the time, like you talk about New Year's resolutions, and people come in and they want to do all these things, and I'm like, let's find a plan that is capable for you right now, and then we'll build upon it as you open your habits up and you get used to doing different things. Because 10% better over time is a heck of a lot better than 20% for 2 days.
Yeah.
So, lasting change is what we're really trying to make. So, and a lot of the information, like I do a podcast every morning on social media under Dr. Chalmers One, just trying to give little bits of information so people can make small changes on a regular basis. And it's been really fun to see these people get substantially better over time.
Can you exercise enough to overcome a bad diet, or are you basically destroying your body regardless of how much you're exercising? Are you destroying your body every time you put down a cheeseburger?
So, it's kind of funny. Cheeseburgers, the bun's questionable, but cheeseburgers are actually very healthy for you. The red meat's fantastic for your body. But you can't out-train a bad diet. It's something that we talk about in the bodybuilding community all the time. The six-packs built in the kitchen, like all that type of stuff. So the other problem we get into with working out really hard is a lot of people will do a bunch of cardio, they'll work out a whole lot, and they'll eat trashy food. The problem is that the nutrients you're consuming are supposed to help your body regenerate and heal. So you can work out so hard that you're damaging your body past the point your body can heal again. If you put bad food in, it makes it worse. So you can make yourself less healthy that way.
Isn't that something? And, of course, we see and hear so much about cardiovascular disease. I talk about arthritis and inflammation. I mean, I see that more. That word inflammation is coming up more and more and more. I don't know. It's showing up in my feeds on my phone. It must be because I'm reading this stuff, but I see it everywhere, man. AARP magazine's got everything in there. It's like, the top 5 biggest anti-inflammatory foods that you've got right in your kitchen right now. What do you recommend with, ultra-processed foods are pretty much, that's the conduit to inflammation. I think you would probably say, right?
Yeah, so basically the easiest way to understand inflammation is when chemistry goes awry. So when we don't have the nutrients we need to create the chemistry that our body normally does, it has to go and try to hodgepodge, figure out how to steal from Peter and pay Paul type of thing to get these chemicals to make things work. And so what ends up happening is that we have faulty chemistry that's creating, inflammation, which is basically the chemistry that's not working properly. So a lot of times the best way to end inflammation or to reduce it is to feed the body the nutrients it needs. You look at, turmeric, and you look at, a lot of these nutrients that we give that are anti-inflammatory. Well, your body needs those chemicals to function. That's how it's clearing the inflammation, is it's just working normally.
Wow. One more time about how people can check out your podcast. You said you're on the air every morning.
Yeah, every morning at 7:45 Central Time, X, YouTube, Dr. Chalmers, the number 1. I jump on for about 15 minutes, answer questions, and go through some tips. I just did a bunch of podcasts with my friends about how to choose a healthcare provider for the new year. So that'll be up later this week. So everybody can go check that out. Dr. Chalmers, the number 1. It's a fun little thing. We're answering lots of questions.
Wow. And pillarsofwellness.com, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Man, listen, Doctor, thank you so much for hopping on with us this morning. This is fascinating to hear. We'll see if we can drive some traffic your way, but great message this morning.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Love to be on.
Yeah. And we'll chat with you again, hopefully. Fascinating stuff, and listen, share this information with people. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, yesterday, Lily and Sherilyn were in the kitchen and just baking and cooking and doing all kinds of stuff. And it just, oh my God, it's like, how much more of this, can we take here? This is going on a couple of weeks here that we're just eating and eating and eating. Everything that looks good, smells good, comfort food, whatever it may be. Wow, great stuff. Thanks to Dr. Matt Chalmers this morning. pillarsofwellness.com. Listen, holiday shipping deadlines quickly approaching. If you want gifts to reach your loved ones on time to avoid potential backlogs and delays, the U.S. Postal Service recommends that ground packages should be sent by this Wednesday. That's the day after tomorrow. If you want that December 25th delivery. So, yeah, obviously, I don't know. Maybe you're one of these that's been, getting all the Christmas shopping done in like November or even sooner. You got everything. I know a few people that are like this. They do it all. They get it done way in advance and even get it wrapped and put away. And then they've completely forgotten who they got for what and who and everything. But anyway, yes. The other big story that many of us were following over the weekend, the guy accused of killing United Healthcare's CEO in Manhattan, still in a state prison in Pennsylvania, while a possible indictment looms in New York as a grand jury considers evidence on charges that he faces there. But Luigi Mangione, what if he's related to Chuck, who could receive a possible sentence of 15 years to life if convicted on the charge of second-degree murder. Is that what Scott Mason's going to get? 15 years to life? And come on. It'll never be life. It'll never be anywhere near life. Especially when you got a high-profile, powerful attorney like Karen Friedman. Agnifilo, say a former Manhattan prosecutor, some badass who's going to be representing him in New York. Can you imagine being tasked with defending someone like this, who is clearly driven by anger against the healthcare industry? Can you imagine being an attorney that would take on something like this? Apparently, Luigi Mangione never got the memo that corporate greed is a real thing and it exists everywhere around the world, and it always will. I don't know. Yeah, right. Plain and simple. He murdered somebody. 15 years to life. And if this badass lawyer is as high-powered as the media says she is, and I'm not familiar with her, but apparently she's really something else. I don't know. You think the end result of this is going to be closer to the 15? It's going to be interesting. There's going to be a ton of time and money and court proceedings and trials and all kinds of bullshit that are going to go along. Watch the preliminary hearing next week. I'll be paying attention to this case and getting this on the air. Amazing. Thursday night. This coming Thursday night. Santa Claus is going to be officially leaving New England. He has been extremely busy, especially this weekend. He was everywhere. He was in Williamstown. He was over in Berlin. He was in Montpelier. He was just everywhere. Dragging poor Mrs. Claus along with him. How she keeps up with his schedule, I don't know. But this coming Thursday night, Santa is going to make his official departure out of New England and embark on his trip back up to the North Pole so that he can get all of the elves up there who have been, putting in overtime up at the workshop trying to get it all buttoned up. So he can get up there in time to get everything loaded up in the sleigh. Santa and our Vermont National Guard, kudos to our Vermont military. They are going to be escorting him, as they have done in past years, out of Vermont with a convoy of military vehicles. This is a big deal. And they are going to be Operation Santa's Convoy is what it's called. We've got it on our Facebook page if you want to. I'll be blasting it again today and tonight and tomorrow. But they're going to be making their way. I think they start up in St. Albans, and they're going to travel through central Vermont, and then right here in front of our studio, where I'll be streaming live on Thursday night at around 5:30, I think is the projected time that Santa and the convoy will be passing out front. And I've done this in the past, but he is going to be finishing things up at the Berlin Armory right around 6 o'clock or so. So he'll be coming right through North Main Street about 5:30 with the whole military convoy escorting him. And then he's going to head up to the Armory for a quick sit down. He's going to pound back a few more hot cocos, throw some marshmallows down the throat, get some candy canes going, maybe put down a few cookies, and then he's headed north to the North Pole. This is a great opportunity to bring the kids out and have some fun and show them everything. It's really a big deal, and I love the fact that our National Guardsmen and women here in Vermont do this. So, yeah. So, do keep watch. There is, like I said, just a ton of stuff that is going on. It's not just the craft fairs and the craft festivals. It's it's just everywhere. I mean, tomorrow, being Tuesday, there will be a new edition of the World newspaper, Central Vermont's favorite weekly newspaper, with over 20,000 copies getting into the hands of Vermonters every week. I look forward to Chris dropping his off here at the studio. I'll be getting it tomorrow, and it is going to be jam-packed with stuff happening all over the region, not just right here, but everywhere. By the way, if you want some good news this morning, Troy's Toy Drive in Burlington was a massive success this weekend. Troy Austin and his followers collected the most toys that they ever have this year. This was year number 10, by the way. More than 3,000 toys collected on Saturday in Essex Junction. And then yesterday, The team dropped off their toys at the Salvation Army's Christmas Castle in the U-Mall in South Burlington. What a story. What a story. What else we have going on in Vermont? St. Albans police searching for a suspect in an in an assault and robbery at the Market 32. Looks like he was not armed. That's just the guy that around 11 o'clock Saturday that reached over the counter, I guess, and grabbed the cash. The old, I'll buy something, and when you ring it up and your cash register opens up, I'll just reach over and grab the cash trick. And looks like a young guy that was running the cash register kind of resisted things a little bit and ended up getting assaulted. But yeah, they're looking for this guy. 'Tis the season for, grabbing some cash. Amazing what's going on in Vermont. And yeah, you bet. I am going to be talking about Scott Mason a lot this week. So many of us on edge, not just up in St. Johnsbury, but just everywhere, not knowing where this dude was. I really, really want to know what's going on with the people next door that had Scott Mason in their home for more than 30 hours. That's what I want to know. Of course, I want to know that this captain is going to be okay. And there's a road in front of him that I think a lot of us know is going to be kind of a long road. But he's got the love and support of his community, and our prayers with him today, tonight, tomorrow, every day going forward. But what's the deal with these neighbors? And why is the media, and maybe I should know the answer to this question, why is media not talking about this very much? All they're saying is that he was found at 2 a.m. at the neighbors next door. They must have known that he was there. They must have been harboring him. I don't know. Glenn says maybe they were being held hostage. I haven't seen any of that in the news. And I think if they were held hostage, I think that would have been out by now. I don't know. There's a lot that I think many of us don't know about this story, and we're waiting for answers on it. We'll watch it carefully, for sure. Don't forget, tomorrow, my annual sit-down to discuss all things Christmas with my life perspective guru friend, Paul Brody. Good-hearted fun. Don't take it too seriously. And every single year that I do this on the air, there's always people that take me too seriously, which is too bad. We're going to be having fun tomorrow. We're going to be goofing around. But we're going to give you great perspective on what's in your head and what's in your heart during the holidays, or maybe even what should be, but maybe what isn't. I kind of serve as the guinea pig to a lot of this discussion about Christmas, traditions, complaining about this or that. Mostly for me, it's the music. That pop, repetitive, same 25, 30 songs that are shoved down our throat every year during the holidays. The same songs that we've been hearing on the radio for the last 30 years. And now it's everywhere. Pandora, it's everywhere. And then there's my wife, who is the complete opposite end of the spectrum and loves every second of all of those crappy, repetitive songs. We'll have fun tomorrow morning. And you never know who might also show up. Have fun, everyone. God bless. Thanks to our supporting and our presenting sponsors here at the Aired Out Podcast, who we love and appreciate every single day of the week.